Honorable Rasso.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable John Mbadi, I think my entry is about the Treasury. Reform in Treasury is really important. As it were, Treasury is being manned by, I think, 2 or 3 tribes. Kenya has 42 different communities. All of them should be represented where the national cake is being shared. Having said that, my question is on financial inequalities in this country, where most of the rural constituencies, communities, or areas are actually totally marginalized, and they are not part of the mainstream economy. The question is, if the House will give you the job, what are some of the initiatives you are likely to undertake so that places like Suba, Moyale, Mandera, Lamu are part of the mainstream economy of this country? Finally, is on what we call funds. People are keeping money in their homes because you are told, don't bank more than 1 million shillings a day. These are prescriptions, we are told, from the World Bank, the IMF, and the money is not in circulation in Kenya. And even in counties, where we are told people actually steal a lot of money there than in the national government, people are not banking money. What are some of the initiatives you are likely to undertake to make sure that actually Kenyans are confident that they'll be taking money to the banks, and it is more safer in the banks than when they are in their homes? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Rasso. On reforming Treasury, I think I talked about it, and I am committed to reforms at the Treasury. About 2 or 3 tribes manning the Treasury. Well, as a matter of fact, there has been discussion around this, and we are Kenyans. And if there are people who get positions just by virtue of being from specific communities, that should not be the case, and that should end.
But the context within which the question was asked was that then it also skews sharing of revenue. Yeah, but sharing of revenue is not done at the Treasury. It's done in Parliament, isn't it?
That's correct, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Yeah, so, but...
where everybody is represented.
Yeah, but I think also on the issue of inclusivity, we need to be inclusive in all government ministries. Let's not just look at Treasury as alone.
Yes.
And by the way, Mr. Speaker, there was a talk that I'm most likely going to be the first cabinet secretary from my community. So that in itself, both, Mr. Speaker. I can't remember any other Luo who has ever been in that ministry. The only closest we came to is twice, when Tom Mboya was the Minister for Economic Planning, and when Anyang' Nyong'o was also Minister for Economic Planning.
And Adua
yeah, and Adua thrice. But National Treasury, no. But then that shows there is inclusivity, in my view. But yes, all ministries, there must be inclusivity. And in budgeting, Parliament does budgeting, and we are all represented in National Assembly. So there shouldn't be that discrimination. On financial inequality, I cannot agree with Honorable Rasso more. We must find a system, and I'm going to ensure that is done, of equitable development of this country with the little resources that we have. Mr. Speaker, you've come to my constituency. Since independence, I will tell you, we have hardly. Now, in fact, the first time we saw a black surface in my constituency in terms of tarmac road was in 2017, when we had a small stretch, and then the work stopped. It's about 4 kilometers.
What would you say if you go to North Hor?
No, and I'm just giving you the example of my constituency.
Yes.
And I know it's worse even in other places.
Yes.
Where even having a Maram road that is usable is a challenge. So we must apply the resources of this country equitably, and that was the essence of devolution. But we must also make sure that the national government funds, which is still holding about 85%, is actually applied equitably. On the issue of keeping money at homes, we must strike a balance here, Honorable Rasso. Yes, I know sometimes banks, because of the regulations and the policy that has been put in place by central bank, yes, that sometimes you go to the bank and your money, sometimes I'm asked when my money comes from my SACCO, for example, Mr. Speaker, to my account, then I'm asked before I transfer it even to my wife, I'm told I must explain the source. And yet they could easily see this is from Parliament, this is from... So sometimes it can be discomforting. But we must balance that with international requirements, best practice. We are not operating in isolation, Mr. Speaker. Right now, through the Financial Action Plan Task Force, which is accepted internationally, and Kenya is a member of East and South African anti-money laundering group, where we have 22 countries. And actually in this August, Mr. Speaker, I am likely, if you approve my appointment, to chair a council meeting of ministers on this matter. We have set rules that we have agreed on, that we have signed to, so that we are accepted. Our financial system is accepted globally. If we fail to comply to some of what we have signed for, Honorable Rasso, we stand at the risk of being blacklisted from the international market, and that has attendant consequences, which we would not want to get.
Nominee, the issue
yes.
on Rasso's question
is
actually not banks making it difficult for people to deposit money over $1 million. I think it has been revised to 2. It's still 1 million.
I think it's still 1 million.
The issue is that the banks have completely misunderstood the concept and the philosophy. Because what the concept is that if it is suspicious, you don't stop anybody from banking the money. But if it's suspicious, then you make a report to the Financial Reporting Center or any other authority. So people should not be prevented from banking money simply because it's over $1 million. But the moment the bank manager finds or feels that this money may be from a suspicious source, receive the money, hold it in abeyance, then report. Because it's very risky for people to keep money in their homes.
It's true.
And that again comes to what I think Kimani Ichung'wah or somebody else said, communication. Communicate to the public. If a trader in Kikomba, now they do cashless, but many traders in many places receive cash. 5 million, 10 million. But they are afraid of going to the bank because there's a list of about 20 questions. Yes. Yes, and this is a cash economy.
Yeah, and actually...
You must simplify this.
Thank you, I get you. Mr. Speaker, and actually it distorts our financial system completely. I agree. But Mr. Speaker, maybe allow me just to say 2 things in response to that. One is that I agree that this has been interpreted differently by banks, and we know why. I personally know why. It is because there was a period, remember the NYS scandals and those scandals, many banks were forced to pay fines. So banks became too cautious. So I think what we may need to do, or what I would do once in office, if you approve my nomination, is to have a meeting with the Kenya Bankers Association and also with the central bank, so that this matter is clarified, so that it doesn't become a bottleneck for Kenyans to bank, because the most ideal is for Kenyans to have money in their bank accounts. On the issue of pensioners, I want to also again, which has been raised by Honorable Shuria, pensioners not being paid. Apart from the time lag between the time you retire to the time you start getting your pension, and I think we need to treat our senior citizens better. You know, you have offered a service to the public. Now that you are supposed to enjoy some of the benefits of the money that was saved, or you saved, or was saved on your behalf, you need to. Mr. Speaker, in the year ending 30th June 2024, we failed as a country to pay pension to the tune of 26 billion shillings. These are Kenyans who have retired and did not get their pension. This is a matter that I want to agree, and it is something that I'd already picked up, that we will make sure that we pay pensioners as and when immediately they retire. And this cannot be done.
If you get there,
yes,
John Mbadi, even as an MP, which you still are,
yes,
I'm sure you know that when you go to your constituent's office or your home, about 10-20% of elderly people who visit you are carrying papers of unpaid pensions for 10 years, even more.
I have many of their messages here, Mr. Speaker,
yes,
in my phone. So you are saying exactly what is correct.
Yes.
But Mr. Speaker, I am happy that we changed the system of contributing to the pension in this country, because again, the issue of sustainability comes about. The pension system that we have been running as a country was not sustainable, but with the superannuation scheme, we are likely now to keep abreast to the pension. But in the meantime, we must settle all the pensions that those pensioners who are eligible for receiving pension.